Welcome back to Boss Babes Healing, where we are loving on each other and healing together and doing it, the healing by putting God first in all that we do. We thank you for joining us again. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose and decided to be here with your girl, your coach, Miss Brown, and I really appreciate you for that. I thank you for joining us once again on today. This week we are back at it. We are in the second part of our series, Unstuck, and we are talking about spiritually being unstuck. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Thank you once again for joining us. We appreciate you. We thank you. We're loving on you. Your family now. Okay? You're stuck with us and there's nothing you can do about it. We appreciate you for showing up again. And we thank you. We love you. We know that we're on this journey together. You don't have to do it alone. A lot of people are in a season where they're stuck. They're in a season where they're confused. They're in a season where they don't understand. They're in a season where they're looking for answers. And so I, through Jesus Christ, through my Lord and Savior, wants to be your answer. Want to be what I needed. There was no one there. What I needed when I needed someone to show up. I'm being the answer of what I was looking for when I looked around and saw nobody. I want to be that for someone else. So my goal with this season, my goal moving forward, and it's always been the same goal, it hasn't changed, is to be the answer, is to help people heal, is to give people direction, and be an answer, so we're not sitting around with our minds clouded, we're not sitting around confused, we're not sitting around not knowing what our next step is, or maybe we do know how to take what our next step is, but not how to prepare for it. So let's get prepared, okay? So we're in the series Unstuck. In this second part, we are doing spiritually being stuck. I'm speaking on the spiritual level of things. And so diving right in, as always, I don't believe in wasting anyone's time. I do know that our time is precious. I respect it. And I know that it's something you can't get back. And so we are talking about spiritually being unstuck. We're going to talk about 3 different ways that I've seen and I've gone through myself, and I've seen others go through, of being stuck spiritually. And that is, 1, when you're praying and not seeing the answers to your prayers, that can make you feel stuck. Another is doing the work, doing the routine of praying, reading your word, going to services, listening to this one, that one online, being a part of the whole, as a body of Christ, but not seeing the fruit, okay? And then the third part of feeling stuck spiritually is when you are in a relationship with your counterpart, with your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, even in a relationship where you're just friends, 2 strong women, and one is not on the same level as the other spiritually, and it makes you feel stuck because you feel like you're constantly teaching that person. It feels like you're constantly have to pull that person up to the level that you're on. It feels like you constantly have to rewind and go back and show up and paint over and fix, and it feels like you're always trying to build that person in their season when you're in a different season somewhere spiritually. And so that can make you feel stuck when your loved one is not on the level spiritually. Okay, so diving right in, number 1, we're talking about praying and not seeing the answers to those prayers. First and foremost, God's timing, which is called Kairos, is perfect. And you may not be seeing the answers, but that doesn't mean He's giving you a no. That might mean wait. And He might just be giving you a no. So you want to always analyze, what am I asking? What else am I doing besides just asking? Is there a time where I'm quiet and I allow Him to speak, right? If you don't audibly hear God's voice, then you still give a time where you're quiet. You still have a time of meditation between you and the Father, letting Him know that you're at His feet and that you love Him, and it's not all about what I can get or what I can ask you, but this is a relationship. And so in a relationship, you have reciprocity. You speak, He speaks. You show up, He shows up. It's, a partnership. It's a co-labor, right? And so we want to realize what we're asking for. Are we always just asking? Yeah, there she goes again asking. Or am I giving this time of prayer a well-balanced time? Am I adding in all the things? Am I giving myself time to just meditate and be at his feet? Am I giving myself time to, yes, ask for what I need and my heart's desire? Am I asking God to strengthen me where I'm weak? Because sometimes people will ask for things, but you're not even strong enough to attain that. You might ask for a house. You might ask for a car. Where's your credit level at? How much money do you have saved? So you might be asking for something, but you don't look like the thing you're asking for. We touched on, in the first part of Unstuck, on the true meaning of manifestation, and that is to begin to become what it is God already has for you. You're not saying Ferrari, 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 right? A million times and letting it down in the book. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere, in the universe. Good luck with that one, okay? Because that can backfire, and it will. You get that car and then boom, it's gone. Or you get that relationship and you think that was something you did when you're not the one who's supposed to be manifesting at all. You're supposed to be positioning yourself for the manifestation, the thing that God already created for you. And so it's ties right in to prayer. Are you beginning to position yourself or pivot to look like what it is you're asking for? Are you fitting the bill? Do you play the part? Do you look the part, right? And so we ask ourselves these questions. We're not pointing at ourselves and saying we're to blame and it's our fault. There are things that you may have been asking for years and don't see an answer to that. And that is clear that it's not time. That's a clear, it's not time, right? And we want to do things in God's timing so that way we're in alignment with what he is doing. You don't ever want a prayer answered out of time. You don't ever want a premature blessing because it will kill you. It could kill you spiritually, relationally. It will actually eliminate the things that you need and want in life. It will remove what has been protected because you want something prematurely. So it removes protection, it removes provision, it removes what's covering certain things. Coverings don't always mean protection. Covering could mean that, this is not supposed to be seen at this time. Covering could mean that you're building underneath that covering, right? So you don't ever want to move the covering from what God is doing under that covering. You don't ever want to lose out on provision or relationship or connection because you want something premature. It all has a timer. There's a timer on everything that you're asking for or believing God for, right? Because you might not just be asking. You might just have it in your heart that you believe and know he's going to do it, but you're trying to figure out when. Right? And so we know that the when is when God knows it's supposed to happen. When God knows you're ready. And if you feel like you're ready, you're not. Clearly, right? And that's not a disrespect or a jab or, tearing you down to say that. It's actually to build you up. So you get back to where you need to be ready, right? And so going right into the second part of feeling stuck spiritually, when you are in a relationship with someone or a friendship with someone and they're not on the level you're on, you can feel stuck. And so you might be in a space where you pray a certain many times a day and they just say grace right over their food. You might be in a place where you're in your word all day. And I'm not making examples so that you can understand what I'm saying. I'm making examples so that you can see how people could feel stuck if that's your situation. I'm making examples so you can see that when you hear it, you feel what I'm saying as well. And so if you aren't there, you could be there and not see that you're there. And be feeling this feeling of stuck and not knowing why. And now, ding, this turns on the light for you. Because sometimes people over-explain. And you're like, I get it. But I'm not over-explaining. I'm just pointing out the facts so that you can feel what I'm saying. Right? So, you're praying, he's not. You're going to the services, he's back at home with his feet up, right? And you're like, Lord, did you send this person? And if you did, is it my place to help them grow? Is it my place to just hand them the tools and they and you and them do it between you and them? How close am I to be in helping them? What level am I taking them to? Does this relationship stop? Does it pivot? Is there a point where they reach where I'm at and now we rejoice together because, my God, how many years, how many months has it been where we worked together as a team and now you're on a certain spiritual level where you rank, you weigh the same that I do in the spirit? That might not be your situation. That might not happen for most people, where you rank a certain rank in the spirit and then all of a sudden they rank the same as you do. And when they were beneath, that doesn't generally happen. Normally, when you're in a situation like that, you are their leader. You know, you are a leader and they are a client or they are in a relationship with you, and it's just someone that God placed to show you what not to do, or you know how you should help your another person who is on the journey in their spirit, on the spirit side of things, where they are too feeling stuck. And so sometimes you can feel stuck because of how the weight of someone else is pulling on you to learn from you or to grow from you, right? But you're trying to get to a certain space too, but that weight of that pull is making you feel stuck. So you're being pulled in one way where you're trying to grow and know, and then the other person is pulling you as well, you know, and so it can make you feel stuck. But if you slow down and take a deep breath and realize, what is God really saying? What is he really asking me? What is my position in this season? Because sometimes you can have more than one position. Sometimes you can be in a dual season where you're doing this and you're doing that. Some people don't realize you can be in a dual season. They never even heard of that. So it's important, if you've been following Boss Babes, it's important to know what season you're in. Are you in a season where you're growing? Are you in a season where you're teaching? Are you in a season where you're behind closed doors and you're doing the work? You're writing the book. You're making the courses. You know, you're coming up with the ideas, right? You're writing the jingles, right? That's big right now. People are doing jingles and they're beautiful, right? But that could be the season that you're in, where you're working. And then once you're done, God transitions you, and now you get to present the work. Maybe you're in the season where you're presenting yourself. Maybe you're in the season where you're changing your hair, you're redoing your wardrobe, and you're marketing yourself now, right? Those are seasons where you're you're doing one thing, but there are dual seasons where you're doing the work and presenting. You're helping someone grow on level 2 and you're on level 5. So you're in a dual season of actually rewinding where you were and reteaching something you already know, and you're trying to grow and get to 6 when they're on a 2, trying to get them to 3. And so that can make you feel stuck. More importantly, you feel stuck not just because you're pushing them, you feel stuck because you don't even realize that you're in 2 different seasons. And so you're feeling the warfare and the rock of being in one space with one foot and being in another space with the other, and you're feeling that teeter. And it's not a negative teeter where you're on a fence and you don't know what to do, or you're on the fence and you don't get it, right? It's really clear. God has sent me to be a destiny helper in this person's life. God has sent me to be able to grow this person so they can be ready in the kingdom for what God has them to do next. And he's having me to be a prayer warrior. He's having me to be, a philanthropist and help them in the business. He's having me be a silent partner in their spiritual journey, getting them to the level. And so in that situation, right, we go to God and we ask him, what season am I in? Am I in more than one? And give me peace and rest where I need it. Because that is the answer to that season where you're helping someone else and you're trying to get along yourself. Give me the peace and the rest exactly where I need it. And you yourself have to look at where you need a regimen. Do I need to go to bed at a certain time? Should I be eating better? Should I be dressing in different colors and materials, right? Should my bedding space be prayed over again? Do I need to renew oil? Do I need to ask God to re-wardrobe spiritually? So spiritually, we wear a wardrobe. We wear a turban. We wear a robe. We wear a dress, right? And spiritually, all these things protect us. Spiritually, all these things are garments for us. And so we have to realize that we may need to be resized in what we wear spiritually. It may be too short. It may be our size. And so we're asking God in the spiritual journey of being stuck, of feeling stuck, to recalibrate us, to give us rest. We're asking him to make sure that our garments, our spiritual garments, are the right shape, the right size, they're long enough. We haven't outgrown what we were spiritually wearing, but we have new garments on. And so as we close, we want to realize that it's about rest. It's about asking God. It's about realizing that we need to be in a space where we're speaking to him and asking for things, and also being quiet in that space and just meditating and being at his feet, right? These are our answers to feeling unstuck spiritually, slowing down, taking a deep breath, realizing that it's bigger than you. And because it's bigger than you, God is going to sustain you. Because it's bigger than you, God is holding you. Because it's bigger than you, you will make it through. Because God has an ultimate plan for you that's bigger than what the enemy wants you to feel, see, and look like, and that's stuck. So now we are transitioning over into Unstuck. Part 3 on Friday. I love you. I'll see you there. Later.